The Biden administration on September 4th launched a sweeping crackdown on Russian efforts to influence the upcoming US presidential election, unveiling criminal charges, sanctions, and the seizure of internet domains tied to a sprawling disinformation campaign.
Just came around to say hello. I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
The measures highlight Washington's growing alarm over foreign interference, particularly from Moscow, which officials have long viewed as the primary threat to US electoral integrity. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the actions, which are aimed at undermining Russia's use of state media to spread disinformation and enlist unwitting American influences.
This morning, we unsealed an indictment in the Southern District of New York of Konstantin Kalashnikov and Elena Afanasieva, two Russian-based employees of RT, a Russian state-controlled media outlet. They are charged with conspiring to commit money laundering and to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act.
The latest steps include sanctions against top executives at RT, Russia's state-controlled media outlet, which the Justice Department forced to register as a foreign agent, along with new visa restrictions. The White House echoed these concerns during a briefing with reporters. National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby emphasized the government's vigilance.
Specifically, all these federal agencies revealed activities directed and funded by RT, formerly known as Russia Today, to covertly spread Russian government propaganda with the aim of reducing international support for Ukraine, bolstering pro-Russian policies and interests, and influencing voters here in the U.S. And in foreign elections as well.
Russia's tactics have grown more sophisticated in recent years, according to U.S. officials, who say the Kremlin's strategies go beyond traditional cyber attacks to include disinformation campaigns aimed at polarizing the American electorate.
An internal planning document created by the Kremlin states that as a goal of the campaign is securing Russia's preferred outcome in the election. The online infrastructure used by the Russian public relations company, known as the Social Design Agency, or SDA, and related actors, included what are sometimes referred to as cyber-squatted domains. These websites were designed to appear to American readers as if they were major U.S. news sites like the Washington Post or Fox News. But in fact, they were fake sites. They were filled with Russian government propaganda that had been created by the Kremlin to reduce international support for Ukraine, bolster pro-Russian policies and interests, and influence voters in the United States and in other countries.
These efforts rely heavily on state-run media and a complex web of fake websites and social media accounts that inject Kremlin-friendly narratives into U.S. political discourse. The topics targeted by these campaigns, immigration, crime, and international conflicts like the war in Gaza, are carefully chosen to stoke division among Americans. According to intelligence officials, many Americans may not realize the content they see online was either created or amplified by Russia. Garland described one criminal case involving two employees of RT, who allegedly covertly funded a Tennessee-based content creation company to produce nearly 2,000 videos of pro-Russian propaganda. The company, unaware of the scheme, was used as an unwitting vehicle for Russian disinformation. The defendants remain at large, and officials are continuing efforts to track them down.
Foreign governments should know that we will not tolerate foreign malign actors intentionally interfering and undermining free and fair elections. The United States will continue to both expose these state-sponsored actors who attempt to undermine our democratic institutions and hold them accountable for those actions.
The crackdown on Russian disinformation comes as concerns mount over the potential for foreign influence in the 2024 US presidential election. While much attention has been focused on Russian efforts, the US government is also investigating cyber attacks linked to Iran, which allegedly targeted the campaign of former President Donald Trump. Meanwhile, other reports indicate attempts to breach the campaign of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
Unfortunately, we know that Russia is not the only foreign power seeking to interfere in our elections. As the U.S. intelligence community noted 2 weeks ago, we have observed increasingly aggressive Iranian activity during this election cycle. That includes recently reported activities by Iran to compromise former President Trump's campaign and to avoid an election outcome that it regards as against its interests. Those recently reported Iranian activities also include efforts to obtain access to individuals who themselves have access to the presidential campaigns of both political parties.
As part of the latest measures, the Justice Department seized 32 internet domains used by the Kremlin to spread Russian disinformation, many of which were designed to mimic American news outlets and sway public opinion. These efforts reflect a broader strategy by Moscow to recruit American voices to unknowingly promote Russian interests, officials said. The ultimate goal is to get Americans to spread Russian disinformation without questioning its origin, said a senior administration official, noting that people are more likely to trust information they believe is coming from a domestic source. Tools such as AI-generated social media profiles and fake websites, meticulously designed to appear as legitimate US outlets, are among the most effective in misleading American voters. The latest charges and sanctions underscore the administration's commitment to confronting the threat posed by foreign disinformation campaigns. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, in a speech last month, called Russian President Vladimir Putin the foremost threat to election security. Monaco accused Putin's operatives of employing ever more advanced techniques to target specific voter demographics, especially in swing states, with the aim of influencing both presidential and congressional races. As election season ramps up, the Biden administration is keen to ensure that foreign actors do not succeed in undermining the integrity of the democratic process. With Russia remaining a top concern, officials are determined to disrupt disinformation networks and safeguard the American public from malign influence.